Hello, hello, and welcome to Of All the Places podcast presented by 5518 Designs. Sitting on the Davenport with our sis, KDK.
What up?
Yeah, over there is Benjamin.
Whoop, whoop.
The one, the only, Juice.
Juice. The original Juice.
The original, the OJ.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, OJ. It's me now.
Yep, the glove fits.
Mm-hmm.
That's all good. Katie, what's happening tonight?
John, we're talking to a Butte staple, I think.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, and in my limited scope and knowledge of all things Butte, he's a staple to me.
Perfect. Give it up. Give up the goods.
Oh, well,
sis.
oh my God. Okay. This is like high pressure, high stakes. We get the distinct pleasure of chatting with John McKee from Headframe Spirits.
Owner, founder?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, McKee's a great dude.
And like doer of nerd shit.
Oh my gosh. Let's make a business card for him.
Doer of
nerd shit.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He would have so much pride in that.
I can get down on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know John.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know most of these people, which is extra fun for me because I just get to sit here with my mouth open being like, oh my God, you're so cool. But I'm really excited because Headframe has been like in our orbit since before we moved here.
Yeah.
You know, it's something I think Butte is known for, you know, especially in other places in Montana. Like
One of Butte's modern exports, I feel like.
I like the way that was said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look at
So
Ben.
we discovered it living in Bozeman.
Yeah, we did.
Kind of.
Yeah, we did.
Slash my old Butte family also knew about it. So it was just like they connected right away with old Butte and it's a Butte export.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much I love about Headframe Spirits, like from their branding and like the purposefulness of the things they do and the stories that they tell of Butte. Just from a personal standpoint, from 5518, that was one of the examples that I took in when we were thinking about opening a store. And I don't know if John knows that about me. I'm happy to tell him that. But like they moved into the uptown, kind of took a chance on uptown, and that's kind of how it was when they opened. And that allowed me to see a business that was successful, and it made me want to be a part of that too. So
Which is so nice.
yeah. So they're
And wholesome.
creating good ripples everywhere, making great booze.
Yeah, they make a pickle martini down there.
Ooh.
You ever had that?
Just so I don't cramp, of course.
Oh, it's
Pickle
so
juice.
good.
Mm-hmm. It makes you more athletic.
Yes.
All right.
It's healthy.
We got a marketing.
The health martini.
Well, sweet. Yeah, John's a great dude. I'm looking forward to hearing some of his old Butte stories, like how Headframe came to be, and just what else he's got going on.
Oh, yeah. Let's dig in.
John McKee, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Juice. It's your turn for that beautiful, beautiful...
Whatever it is you do over there.
Hit some buttons for me, buddy.
Beep, beep, boop, bop, boop, boop, beep, beep.
There it is.
Of all the places, of all the places, why here?
I love this list.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I'm really excited about the list because I love lists.
Oh, is this thing I sent to you?
You gave us some dirt.
Okay, but I love a list. I live for a list.
So do you do the thing where you've written a list, you go do something, and then it wasn't on the list, and you go write it down on the list and check it off?
Multiple times today, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that was a task, and it wasn't on my list, but I have to write it down so I can check it off
So
and
you
get the
can feel
dopamine.
good. That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Me
the
too.
hit.
Me
Yeah.
too. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yep, all day, every day.
Nice. Yeah, you gave us some dirt. You're the first person I think that's ever given us like a list of like, here's some questionable, not questions, but questionable things.
Well, yeah,
Let's have some fun and get weird.
I didn't know what you wanted to talk about, so I was like, well, I'll just open up the book and we'll see what comes out.
I love it.
So-
I love this. This is awesome.
I sent it to Katie. I was like, we have to talk about African hip hop, period.
Yeah,
Well-
man. Fela
Oh,
Kuti
yeah,
and-
wait, I see it on the list now.
Yeah.
That was the one that
Yeah.
jumped out at me.
Yeah.
What's your lock-in music?
Well, okay, so it's always going to be like chill techno. I'll work for 20 hours on chill techno, but like I was saying in that, like old school African hit, Afro pop, so like Fela Kuti and those guys, and then, but right now, like I really get into one called One to Banton, so One DAA Banton, one to Banton. And he's fun. And yeah, but I like it because I work really well with a lot of music, but as soon as there's words I can understand, I work poorly. So it's got to be techno, it's got to be trance, it's got to be chill, it's got to be African hip hop in Nigerian, and I can
That's
work all day
awesome.
long.
You just said
But-
all those words.
As soon as there are real words in there, like English words, sorry, as soon as there's
Yeah.
English words in there, I'm lost. I'm like, I can't work. I have to listen now.
It's too distracting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not how my brain
Damn you,
works.
English.
It's weird.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate
awesome.
I appreciate that homework that you did for us.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is great. We could just go through the list.
Let's start with that.
Start through the list.
So mine was African hip hop. Where are you pulling from that?
Oh, okay. Let's before we get into the list.
Oh, let's get serious.
Okay.
John.
Let's get deep.
Who are you?
Hello, my name is John McKee. MCKEE. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you a small C, big K?
I am actually. Good
Okay.
call. Yeah, but not a Butte boy. Didn't get here until I was about 6. And
Wow.
all of my McKees went through the South. So they landed in North Carolina, late 1700s, and went through the South. And so my mom didn't leave the state of Texas until she was 25. And then very soon thereafter we were here. So my name's John McKee.
I didn't realize. I thought you were Butte born and bred.
No. So I grew up on the hill. I went to McKinley when it was still a school, back before it was a Baptist church, right? I went to McKinley. And then 5th and 6th grade, I was in the ALP, the Accelerated Learners Program, and they bused me to Whittier every day. And I learned algebra and French with a whole bunch of other kids from around town that got bused there.
Wow.
And then I went to East, and then I went to Butte High. But I didn't get here till I was 6 years old.
I mean, that's pretty close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would
To
be
be
that.
Well, it's funny. I mean, okay, so my son was born in Butte, right? So he's Butte rat.
Mm-hmm.
Me, not a Butte rat. It's a thing, right?
Yeah.
And if you weren't born on like a bed in somebody's house or St. James, in the back of a car on your way to St. James, you're not a Butte rat, man.
Yeah.
It's one of
That's
those
true.
things. So, and I'm okay with it. I mean, I made it here. I've made my mark.
Yeah.
I'm all right with it. So
Well, I'd say.
What was it like growing up in Butte? Because you're the one.
Yeah, we didn't.
None of us have.
right.
We hear these like mythological stories about what it was like.
Well, it's really funny. I think, okay, so, we made a joke downstairs a little while ago, but there's these jokes where you're like, oh, this is 40 years ago, feels like 40 years ago, but this is what 40 years ago really was, right? And they're like, feels like 40 years is like, Top Gun, but 40 years ago was really Top Gun. So it's, but it's the same on the Butte Hill. So like when I was a kid up there, nothing was capped, right? So all the mine waste was open. And I played, like I grew up on the corner of Broadway and Emmett. So everything from Kennedy School to West, which at the time was a middle school before it became an elementary, that was sort of my stomping grounds, all the upper and lower West Side. And so we spent all of our time playing on mine waste, playing on the tracks. We used to put pennies down on the tracks when that tour train would come through and it'd smash
sure.
the pennies out
Mm-hmm.
when they still ran a little train up there. So it was like 5th grade. We're down Porphyry Street crossing Emmett. I think we were heading towards Dairy Queen, and this like silvery stuff was coming up out of the street.
No
And
way.
we went
I
over
think
and we're
I've
like,
heard this.
oh, and we picked it up and it was mercury, and we took it home and showed our parents, like, look, it's in our hands. And they're like, what the fuck we need? And the city showed up and they dug it up, and they, what Emmett used to be was a gully. And they just filled it in so they could get across it. I hadn't built bridges across it. And just one day someone showed up and had a bunch of drums of mercury, and they just fucking throw it in a hole, and they just covered it over. So we found the mercury, and the next day there was a remediation in the
Oh
middle
my
of Emmett Street when I was a 5th grader or something. So
I've heard a version of this story.
I've never heard this
and
story.
I never believed it.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, it was Matt, it was Scott, and it was Doug. Drew. I mean, it was all of us, like Doug Western. We were all down there, and we were just like, hey, this is cool.
Wow.
And I think most of our parents were professors at Tech. So as soon as we came home, two of them were chemistry professors. So we brought it home. They're like, no.
They're like, no.
It's like, it's fun, but let's put on some gloves and do it again. But let's
Yeah.
just go ahead and take it out of your hands. And like, did
my
anyone
God.
drink in it? And they're like,
Yeah.
no.
Nobody put it in your face.
Yeah, that's right.
Boy.
That's crazy.
Oh,
But I think what was interesting about it was also there was this, this isn't fair. But when you grew up on the hill, the one thing that you really didn't, kids on the flats didn't understand was that none of us had geared bikes. We had BMXs, right? Just one gear bike. When you grew up on the hill, you pushed your bike up the hill half fucking day because it's all uphill and you couldn't ride it back up. So you'd ride down and you go to the BMX tracks down below West and you jump all day and you skin your knees, skin your elbows because there's no helmets and there's no pads. And then you're like, and you just push your bike all the way back up the hill. And so we sort of had this thing on the hill that all the kids on the flats were pussies because they didn't have to push their bikes up the hill. So there was also that, I guess, growing up in Butte.
After a long day of just beating yourself up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And the parents loved it because you just show up at the house and eat dinner and you go to bed and they didn't have to see you for the
you're
rest of the
wiped.
night because you were exhausted. But no, growing up Butte was, I think, maybe I've added a little bit to the legend there, but I think what's really interesting about it is it's also just so, it's so Norman Rockwell. I mean, even to this day, I don't lock my house. I mean, it's this sort of vibe that you have in Butte and certainly in a lot of the uptown where, it's a pretty cool place to live and people know each other and they show each other sidewalks and, it's just sort of one of those things. And so there's also a lot of that too, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I love about this place is the true sense of community.
Yeah, it's funny, right?
You don't get that everywhere.
You really don't. And I travel a lot for what I do. And a lot of people ask me, what's Montana like? What's Butte like? And invariably my answer is, well, I live where you go for vacation. Right. So I live in a place that's beautiful and I live in a place that has community because that's where I want to be.
Right. And maybe an Indian restaurant.
Oh my
That'd
God.
be so great. It's coming.
Maybe it's,
What? Soon, right?
Yeah, going into where the old ox built. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Oh my God. They're going to be millionaires.
Oh, yeah. From me alone.
print money.
I'm going to be there full time.
I know. I cook curry 3 nights a week.
Oh,
And I'm just like, yes.
especially this time of year.
I
Like,
know.
I just want the heat.
Right?
Yeah. I'm so ready.
No, but that's what I think that when time travel exists, I'm going back. I'm staying put, but I'm going back in time right here.
Oh, I
yeah.
totally agree. But mine is like, I want everything between like 1915 and 1930 kind of thing. Like,
That feels like a sweet spot.
like
Yeah.
It's
where
history,
all the
yeah.
buildings are there and they're all high in the sky and Bing Crosby's showing up and getting hammered. And I mean, that's the time I would really want to see.
Oh,
Butte.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, I was here in the 80s. I was here in the 70s. I mean, I was a kid, but I was here.
Yeah.
I think and I've been here since, but I guess I'd love to see, just another 20, 40 years back would have been really cool.
Well, even uptown, like all the big buildings in uptown were small buildings back in the day.
Yeah.
Like I look at 51 Below and the Miners Hotel, and that's
Yeah.
a 4-story building.
Yeah.
And the equivalent old time picture of that block, and that's one of the smaller buildings on the entire block.
Right.
Like there's physical evidence of that
Yeah.
in front of my face, and I still can't wrap my mind around it.
Right. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, so I have a lot of recurring dreams, right? Like I'm just sort of how my brain works. And one of the recurring dreams that happens all the time, once a week, is I have a dream. I'm in Butte somewhere and I've just turned down a corner, like down O'Neill Street. And I come across a building I've never seen before. And I know I've been down O'Neill Street a dozen times and I've never seen this building before. And I stop and I get out and it's almost invariably abandoned, but not run down,
Oh.
right? It's sort of like, And then you walk around it and they're usually whimsical in some way, like the floors above are wider than the floors below. So it's very Howl's Moving Castle. But it's totally, I know what you're saying. Like when I think about Butte and I think about what it had, it sort of just triggers the imagination even when I'm asleep about what, and usually a lot of the dreams are in the warehouse district too. Like all the buildings we've lost in the warehouse
That east
district.
side
I'm just
is
like,
something.
there's some cool stuff down there.
That's gonna be a revitalized. It's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the next neighborhood.
Well, I told Mike and Maisie, like when they bought that building, like I had already modeled that building tip to toe like 6 years earlier
Oh,
because I wanted to put the distillery in there.
okay.
Mm.
And so I'd been through it and everything. And so when they bought it, I was like, can we just call it my building? And they're like, sure, John. And I was like, great. That's all I need to do is just call it my
That's
building because I never did get it. So,
Oh.
And that just didn't pencil out or something.
yeah, I couldn't make it fit. It wasn't I
Ah.
couldn't pencil, but when I tried to lay it out, the amount of equipment we needed, and if we had a taste, you've been to our tasting room, it's good enough size we can put people in there and you can hang out. The tasting room we would have had there would have been really cool because I was going to keep that open space that went down to the basement so you could look down into production, you could see everything happening. But we would have had seats for maybe like 4 people. And I was like,
that's not
meh.
gonna cut it.
Like that's not a community. That's a production house where people can sort of just oogle and leave. And I
Yeah,
didn't want
that's
that. I wanted people sitting and
Cool.
which is why I like our tasting room too, because there's no TVs, there's no gambling machines. You're meant to come there and talk
Yeah.
to each other, right?
It is one of my
I love
favorite
it.
places for a cocktail.
You're awesome. Thank you.
I mean it,
Okay.
though. I mean, because of that, because
Yeah.
there's no TVs and there's no extra stuff. It's
Right.
like such a great place to go get a nice drink.
And you
Right.
can chill there, right?
Yeah.
Like
You can.
you're not worried about turning over tables. Like you can visit with your friends and
Mhm.
hang out, and you don't feel like you're just rushed to get out the door, finish your
Right.
drink, and move on. you know?
Right. And you know that you're only going to get two. So there's also this, in this implied sense of just, I'm not going out and someone's going to line up 7 wooden nickels for me before I get out the
Yeah.
door and I have to go drink all those too. It's this place where you're just like, I'm going to have my 2. I'm going to have my conversations. I'm going to see my friends.
You know, John, you
Go home.
don't have to drink all those 7 wooden nickels. You can put those in your pocket.
I didn't know that, really.
Save 'em for rainy day.
I would have had a lot of nickels in there.
Maybe we should talk about you growing up a little bit more.
Well, again, yeah. Feel free. I started drinking at 14. It was Butte. So tell me more.
That's a Butte story.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, nice. So you went to Montana Tech, right? You've got
Well, it's second.
Ish?
So
okay.
yeah, so grew up in Montana Tech. I mean, my dad taught, started the petroleum engineering department up there, became the vice president before he left. And as a kid, I'd go up there playing a lot, and I got lost in the steam tunnels when I was like 6, and security had to take me to his office. So he was really bummed when I decided to do my first degree at U of M.
Okay.
So I graduated, went to U of M, played rugby.
What?
So
Rugby?
that guy right there.
Yeah, man.
What was that?
Inside center.
Inside center hooker.
Hooker? Yeah.
Scrummy. Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
I like that, man.
yeah.
Where'd you play?
Montana State.
Okay, your state. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So yeah, I was Jesters in 93, 94.
No shit.
I was University of Tennessee Volunteers because I was there at the time. They were putting the most into the national team.
Okay.
After I graduated from college, so that was 99, I went down because I was trying to convince myself I could do it. Came back from Maggot Fest, and I was playing with the practice side of the Eagles
Yeah.
at Maggot Fest. And the very first play, I got tackled across the tripole and broke all this and got the point.
Yeah.
And
That's
then-
what matters.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
is-
And
matters.
then the medic comes over and he goes to get out the scissors and like, you're not fucking cutting my jersey off. And they're like, okay. So they just bound me up and I had a standard accord and I drove myself to the South Street Clinic and they knocked me out and set my shoulder and they pulled my jersey off and I brought my jersey back to them. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, but
Oh
yeah, that was
my
it. That was the end of my
No shit.
aspirations to play.
Wow.
It generally has to
National
crash
rugby.
and burn. A
Oh
rugby
yeah,
career.
yeah. Like it was not. I mean, I loved it, and it's funny. Like ever since then, every Thanksgiving, instead of watching football, I always have a rugby game ready to go.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, and then last year I went to DC, watched Scotland and the Eagles play, and then just 2 weeks ago I was in Chicago, and I watched the All Blacks play Ireland.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
we were at that game.
Soldier Field, 70,000 people. It was
Eight-
packed.
Soldier Field.
8 years ago.
8 years ago, Ireland beat New Zealand for the
Uh-huh.
first time ever.
Ever.
Uh-huh.
It
That
was-
place lost its.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and this time,
Oh, brother. I was
just
there.
barely
That-
lost this time too, and you could just tell the whole crowd was like, "Oh God!"
Oh my god.
Like they were ready to go off. But
Oh, my
it
God.
was a great game though,
Oh, always is.
and I just actually watched it again for Thanksgiving just a couple days ago. I watched it again because of course, I'm in the stands, I'm drinking beer,
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's a lot I missed. Let's just say.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I went back
it's easy
and I rewatched it. But it was the first time I've ever seen the Haka live.
Oh,
And
man, that's
like,
something.
just
So powerful.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
I mean, and again,
Goosebumps.
70,000 people in Soldier Field went silent
Mhm.
and just listened to the Haka. And
And
it
it's
was
like loud.
yeah,
Still, there's is there 20 dudes doing it?
just
30? Like,
crazy. And it's so just powerful. You can just, I mean, it was a really cool thing. Yeah.
Oh my
Damn.
gosh.
Yeah.
we could talk rugby the whole.
I
Yeah,
know.
we should go back.
We
I'm
I'm
gotta
gonna go ahead
sorry,
and not
sorry.
steal this
No,
episode.
We gotta redirect.
Yeah,
What's
Inside
that?
Center. That was my favorite.
That's
Love it.
crazy.
Love it.
And so so I was playing rugby at U of M, got a psychology degree, and then figured out like right as I was finishing my psychology degree that I wanted nothing to do with psychology. So that's when I went to Tennessee for a year, playing for the Vols, trying to get onto the national team. And then came back, and that's when I finally went back to tech, and I got a computer science degree, and then got a master's in environmental engineering.
Okay.
So Dad was finally proud of me when I came back. But by then he had taken over a presidency of a college in West Virginia, and then he was president. He finished his career at Indiana State University.
Oh, nice.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Because I knew you have a connection to tech somehow. Like,
Oh,
you're a
yeah,
giant
no.
supporter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, it raised me like that generation of professors. They were, every Easter and Thanksgiving and Christmas, we all got together because they all had kids all the same age. So we all grew up together. And so, yeah, tech was like the center of our existence. And again, I grew up a block away.
Mhm.
Right.
that's
So,
true.
I mean,
That's just in your DNA.
yeah, man. Yeah.
I thought you were an engineer of some kind.
Not really. No. I mean,
That's
I've got an environmental engineering degree
Okay.
and I'm good at math.
See, this is,
Yeah.
we were at was it the Milwaukee bar?
Probably.
And all of a sudden, McKee's at the other side of the bar, just nerding out over this piece of paper.
Yeah.
And I think you were just like doing math equations
I
or
think I
something.
was,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know about this guy.
Math
Mm.
at the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone needed something. I forget what it was. Like it was a quick calculation. I think it was for Dark or somebody where they were trying to hang something that the weight was a little wrong. And so I was helping them get it right.
Yeah, there was an actual problem involved.
Yeah, there was
like,
a problem.
You weren't just like,
I was trying to
No,
solve
no,
it.
Let's
not
just
like
math
casual
for
for
fun.
sport math. Like that, yeah.
No, it's
totally-
drinking math.
Drinking math.
Yeah, and eventually art came out of it.
Yeah,
so, so
yeah.
it was all right.
That's great.
But no, yeah, I'm a nerd. Is really what I am, as much as
perfect.
anything. Yeah. So
and your environmental engineering degree, did that kind of lead into your, like, is that what you wanted to do when you grew up?
no, I mean, yes and no. I mean, when you grow up in a town that, well, it's easy to say without being unfair because I grew up here and it's my town. But when you grow up in a town that's poisoned, it's something that sort of, maybe you don't realize it as a kid. Maybe you figure it out as you get older. But, I didn't go to U of M because I wanted to escape Butte, because as soon as I finished, I came right back, right? But, well, once the Eagles wouldn't have me. But then I came right back. But I think that as I came back, it was 99. It was hot right in there. And, it was about the time they're starting to cap some things and they were starting to fix some things. You're like, oh, okay. There's a path forward here. And so, but right about that time, what I was also doing, so I came out of the computer science degree. I was working for a company here in town called Computer Geeks, and we just fixed your computers, right? And one of the big clients we had was a company called Residine, and I was doing their computers. They're just like this engineering think tank kind of thing. And I went to them for a while, and there was a spinoff that happened from that was strictly about making biodiesel. And when that spun off, the two guys that spun off gave me a call, and they're like, hey, you should come with us. And I said, you guys don't have enough computers. And they said, no, you're good enough at math. You should come with us. And that's when we spun off and started that company to make biodiesel and a commercial scale. So 100 million gallon a year kind of places. And while that was going, I said, screw it. I might as well just get a master's in environmental and also have my son at the same time. And so it was a busy couple of years, but that master's in environmental was really sort of about, a little bit more of the sideways application of what I was already doing for my job, which was, esterification, transesterification, building distillation towers, figuring out how pumps work, building cooling water systems, hot oil thermal systems, that kind of stuff. And so I had some very practical in the field all the time. And while at the same time I was doing this master's.
And at the same time, on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
you're living in Butte.
Sort of.
And
I
you're
mean, the
seeing this,
company
like-
was in Butte, but the unfortunate part about that company was I go out for 4 months, I come back for a week. I go out for 4 months, I come back for a week, kind of thing. So that's sort of how that thing worked.
But you can juxtapose what you're learning in the field, and then you come back to this town, and you're looking around, and you're seeing probably a lot of barren rocks and pollution.
man.
And
Yeah, man.
that's when we started learning about this stuff. And I love the way you said there's a path forward,
Yeah.
because I think that still exists. But at
100%.
that time, I can kind of see the intersection happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think you're right, because some of it had started, like they'd gone to a couple places and capped stuff that, had been open mine waste for a long time. Right. And so stuff that we used to play on in our neighborhoods. I had, in my neighborhood, half a block away, I had a push out from a mine that was just 100 years old of poison soil. And I played on that all the time as a kid. And, I came back and they just scraped it and just put 3 foot of topsoil on it and was starting to grow grass again. I was like, oh, okay, so something can happen here. And, the longer I decided to commit myself back to Butte, the longer I wanted to see it different.
Yeah.
And so, sort of jumping ahead in time, but for the last 15 years, I've been on the Butte Natural Resources Development Council. So Butte was given $28 million to do its own cleanup, right? So there's $300 million spent so far, but Butte got like 30, and with interest earned, turned about $32 million. And for the last 15 years, we've been using that money to clean things up that either weren't going to get cleaned or weren't going to get paid for by other parties. And so we needed to step in and do. And so ultimately, like what you said, like going through and seeing a path forward, fast forward to today, I was part of the team that decided to take out the parrot tailings, which was, the most polluted thing in the Western United States. We put in the water plant that comes out of Basin Creek. So now we can use Basin Creek again. So we do things like that with that money. And some of what I got to do in that degree and then what I got to do in that job brought me back and sort of informed a little bit of how I think about that. And then also, I dig Butte. I mean, I love it if my son came back after he gets done with college. My daughter works here and she loves it. And I dig this town. And I want it to be prettier and nicer and better.
And it can be.
It can be. Yeah, it's not hard. It's just the thing I get really frustrated about. And, and the guys at Arco throw stones at me sometimes for this comment, but all we're doing is moving fucking dirt. Okay. They make all these acronyms and they make it so difficult and sound so big and so huge to clean stuff up. But ultimately, they're pushing down piles. They're putting 3 foot of fucking topsoil on it. We're done, and I think it's been unfortunate that it's been gone so long because I think it's unnecessary. And I think we could have been in a much different place now if we had the engineers getting to do what they wanted to do instead of the lawyers sort of crafting what we're doing. So,
well, that's a big role. Mm-hmm. It's like the BNRC. BNRC, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool role. Yeah, I've been since it got founded. I'm me and a few other members have been with it since it was founded. It's been really satisfying because it was that one time where I think a lot of people in Butte, when it comes to cleanup, they have this opinion that they just don't have a say in it. They don't have the things just sort of happen. BP says this is how it's going to be, and EPA sort of just bends over and says, okay. And so here was this group of people. We were all Butte rats, I guess again, I'm not a Butte rat, but we're all Butte people.
Honorary Butte rat.
And we had this pot of $32 million and we held public meetings all the time and we solicited ideas, and those ideas were literally ones that we would fund.
That's cool.
And so the people who showed up with the ideas could say, I don't know if you noticed, but there's all around uptown, if you look, you're going to see these little like medallions next to stormwater sewers. Has a picture of a fish and it says the water from here goes to the creek. Mm-hmm. That's one of our projects. And that was a high school student in Butte. She came to us with a project and said, can I get these printed and get a bunch, glue? And here's my map of all those stormwater drains. And I'm going to go put one next to all of them. And we're like, hell yeah. And so she was one of the people we funded. And she went out, and that's why we have all of those out in Butte now. Is not because it was a directive by ARCO or someone in the city government. It was a teenager that said we should just help people understand that this stuff goes in the creek so they don't dump stuff down here.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, what a cool citizen ownership project. That's
amazing. It's in the alleys. Like walk down your alley. It's at that manhole and back.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great reminder.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And
there's one in our alley.
Really?
Yeah, when we drive down the alley from the west to the east, there's one on that.
Oh, on that dip.
Yeah, there's one right there.
Okay.
And when you go down the alley next time, take a look.
You pat yourself on the back every time you hit that sewer grate.
That's right.
Bottom of your truck. Son of a... that's okay. That's We're good.
It's nice.
It's not going down the drain.
Katie, we talk every episode about what it must have been like to live in Butte in like the 1920s. Like there is not a better place right now to truly see that magic of Butte's glory than walking into the lobby of Hotel Finland.
Oh my God, yeah. The Finland isn't just a place to stay. It's like a time portal. You walk into the lobby and just immediately see those massive chandeliers and they just hit.
Stunning, like legit stunning. It's like being back in the golden age of Butte while being in the current golden age of Butte. See what I did there? The Finland comes with all the modern amenities that you need in a hotel, but it was built in 1924. So a little factoid for you for the next Jeopardy episode. It's modeled after the Hotel Astor in New York City.
Whoa, I didn't know that. And you just can't beat the location. It's right in the heart of Uptown, so you are in all the action. Festivals, music, shows, food, drinks. It's right there for you.
It's a win for everybody. So, the next time you're in Butte, stay somewhere that's the epitome of Butte's history and culture. You won't regret it. Book your stay online, by visiting www.finland.com.
That's right. Hotel Finland, where history meets hospitality.
All right, folks, let's talk about one of the best spots in Uptown to kick back, grab a cold drink, and catch the Packer game. I'm talking about, if you don't already know it, Metal Sports Bar and Grill.
Oh, 100%. Metals is my go-to when I'm looking for a solid meal, quick and easy, or when I'm checking out the Wednesday ramen night. It is definitely not that good old brick of ramen we all know and love from our dorm days.
The old college times.
It's money.
Yeah, their ramen is phenomenal. Most recently, I had the banh mi sandwich. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it is not your typical chicken fingers and deep fried everything bar menu, although that
Well,
stuff's good too.
That's dynamite too. But the classic Ray's fingers, that's your deep fried goodness right there. Pair that with some waffle fries and dangerous good.
Yeah, it's one of my go-tos. Fresh salads, wraps, flatbread pizzas, the poke bowl. Oh, that's Ben's favorite. And the drinks. Well, those are my kryptonite.
It is game on with Dave, Chef T, and the crew at Metal Sports Bar and Grill. So next time you're uptown and visiting Butte, head on over to Metal Sports Bar and Grill at 8 West Park Street. We'll see you there. As you know, this show is about stories. And if you're looking to tell yours on video, there's someone right here in Butte that you should know about.
Absolutely. We are talking about Michaela at Mountain Heart Media. Michaela is a freelance videographer based in Butte who spent the last 5 years bringing our local stories to life.
Her portfolio consists of work for St. James Healthcare, Montana Resources, and Butte Central High School. And you can just get a sense of the level of care that she puts into each video.
If you're looking for a video that feels authentic to you, your brand, whatever story you're trying to tell, and actually means something, check out Mountain Heart Media.
You can find her work on Facebook or Instagram at mountain_heart_media. We are supported by Casa Grande's Steakhouse. My goodness, you can't beat that hand-cut Rocky Mountain beef with that perfect amount of signature Casa Grande seasoning. Just let me dive into one of those petite fillets. You got to go medium rare with that, Katie. It's literally a religious experience. What's your go-to meal at Casa Grande's?
The Arts spicy cream sauce
Yes.
pasta.
Mhm.
That is like crack. I'm
sure.
totally obsessed.
Like I said, religious experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the whole menu is truly off the charts. I'm talking made-to-order pastas, chicken, seafood, of course. We can't say Casa Grande Steakhouse without sushi night. If you miss that, you're straight up missing out. Every Thursday, sushi night. Thank us later for that. Casa Grande Steakhouse, you'll literally never be disappointed.
And you'll never leave hungry.
For sure. You should actually just order a to-go box with your meal. Casa Grande's is located inside the historic Bertoglio building at 801 South Utah Avenue in Uptown Butte. Casa Grande Steakhouse, where you'll always be welcomed as a part of the family. And I know you're an outdoorsman too. Like, I know you spend most times on the river.
Yeah, river. Yeah, river. Yeah.
And I've got to ask you about Chadwick Stokes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he's one of so he's the lead singer of Dispatch.
Yes.
Okay.
And he came.
Spectacular band.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, God.
And he came here to play Original Fest.
Yeah, Boyle's original
Matt
fest.
Boyle organized.
So it wasn't Dispatch, it was just Chadwick, right? And Boyle knew that I love Dispatch. And they're so Dispatch is one where, okay, they do sing in English, but I can actually listen to them and work all day because even though they sing in English, it's not often clear. So I can listen to them all day long. And so Boyle knew how much I loved those guys. And he's like, well, hey, Chadwick's coming. Will you be his ambassador? And I was like, oh yeah. And so I pick him up from the airport and I'm taking him around town. The very first thing I took him to do is we went up on the East Ridge to the Continental Divide. And I made him pee on it so that it went half went into the Gulf and half went into the Pacific.
There it is.
And he was just like, "Are you kidding me? This is happening right now?" I was like, "Yeah, welcome to Butte."
Welcome to Butte.
And then it sort of just went from there.
Let's
We just
go
had
pee
the
on
best
something.
time. Yeah, we just
Oh,
had
that's
the best
amazing.
time. We still actually chit chat every once in a while. I have some friends who own a distillery in Nantucket, and they got married. They met each other at the Dispatch show. Dispatch played their distillery a couple times when they were young. And when they got married, Dispatch came over and played their wedding.
Wow, that's cool.
Aw.
And so they know Chadwick really well. And so we've sort of kept texting over the years. And every once in a while, we have a random thought. And he's like, Have you
Love
peed
that.
up there
That's cool.
lately? I'm like, no.
Have you peed up there lately?
So
Oh,
Darn it.
that's awesome.
I was like, I'm just waiting for you to come back, Chad. So,
Oh, that's great. I'll never forget. We went to that show. We've been to Dispatch a few times,
Yeah.
and Cass just sent me this random picture that day that he was playing.
Yeah.
And I've never seen somebody envelop another human being as much as she was wrapped around him.
yes.
I'm just
yes.
like, should I be jealous? No, he's
No.
he's good.
He's
good guy.
Chad. He's fine.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
He's really fun. He's really a fun guy. And from an intellectual standpoint, like he's just really smart. And so it was really fun to get to connect with him for a weekend and have that opportunity. I've been really grateful to Boyle for that for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
it was
cool.
Really cool.
I can just see you fanboying.
Oh,
over the
okay.
demo.
That was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot.
That's perfect.
That was a lot.
Oh, cool. So then, all right, where we're at, where you graduate school, you're
93
done
from
playing
Butte
with
High.
Mercury.
Yeah, I was done playing with Mercury. Did speech and debate in Butte High.
Okay.
Ran cross country. Well, that's right. I played rugby for the Crabs when I was a senior in college.
Yeah, you're a sporty spice.
So just rugby. Like,
Okay.
well, I ran, but I mean, running's not sport. Running's
it's
just
the worst part of
it's
many
just
sports.
punishment. I don't know.
That's
Like
right.
that's all running is. But yeah, no, I graduated from Butte High in '93, and yeah, and like I said, it was easy to think at the time. Yeah, I needed to get out of Butte just because I needed to really quickly just get out from underneath the shadow that were my parents, and
Yeah,
that
that's true.
my dad was at Tech, and if I had gone to Tech, there's nothing that could have happened up there without being underneath the shadow of who he was, and I just needed to sort of start my own way. And yeah, I went to Missoula, found the Rhino really quickly,
Yeah.
which I loved. I still
To
love
this day.
to
Yeah.
this day. I think I got 50 ways to love your liver like 12 or 13 times, and around the world in 40 beers about the same. I taught billiards at the U of M. That's how I made money when I was there. It's like I taught billiards. And
Billiards?
So
Oh, wait, is he going through the list without us?
I don't know. No, I don't think
I
that's
think
in there
that's on the
Oh, okay.
list.
because I have that pool hall upstairs,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
right? And one of the tables
Pioneer.
up there, I got in COVID because U of M got rid of the billiards hall, and so one of the
Oh, cool.
tables I used to teach on,
Oh, that's cool.
I bought in COVID and went up there in a delivery truck and brought back and put in my dance hall. But
Perfect.
yeah, I taught billiards to get through college, and mostly so I didn't have to pay for beer at bars because I just walk in and
That's right. Yeah, that's
bet the table. And
quick thinking.
Yeah.
and my buddy, my roommate, was much better player than I was, and so we never had to pay for beer. It's pretty great. But that was pretty much it. I was, like I said, psychology degree, playing rugby, drinking, and really figured out like I really connect well with things that aren't. How do I want to say? I was about to say that aren't real, but metal and steel and things are real. I don't do well connecting with people in a therapeutic setting. And I found that out after I'd finished all the course requirements for my psychology degree.
Oh.
So that was when I decided to F off and go play rugby again and just explore that life again. So
And that kind of brings us to the origin story of Headframe Spirits.
sure.
Yeah.
Well,
take us back to that. How did that come to be?
okay, so that company that spun out of Residine, that biodiesel company. So what it was what happened to Residine was this company, Kenosha Beef in Wisconsin, called up Residine one day and said, "Hey, do you know how to make biodiesel?" And someone at Residine literally opened Google and said, "How do you make biodiesel?" And I said, "Yeah, we know how to do that." And I said, "Great, let's joint venture this," because Kenosha Beef made, at least at the time, made all of the beef patties in America for Wendy's.
Wow.
Oh.
And if you don't know, Wendy's doesn't freeze their beef patties. So what happened is they go out and they just do a loop to all the Wendy's, right? And they would get there, and any of the beef patties that hadn't sold and hadn't been used for chili that week, they'd take them back. And they take them all the way back to Kenosha, Wisconsin. And they would render the beef down and get the tallow out. And they use the tallow for pharmaceuticals or dog food or things like that. And we're like, no, we can do this. We can turn tallow into biodiesel. And so we invented a way to make that happen because you couldn't do it originally. So we invented a way to do it, to turn the tallow into something you could distill. And then we invented the way to distill. So biodiesel had never been distilled until we entered the market. And when we left the market, it's the only way that the blenders who put stuff into like Shell stations and town pumps would only accept biodiesel if it was distilled. So in the 7 years we were doing this, we sort of turned the industry upside down. And so they called and said, hey, can you do this? And someone said, sure. And so we developed the pilot plant here. And that was, Cooper was 1 year old. So that would have made it like 06. Willie Nelson was doing a tour through, and we had a whole bunch of corn oil. So we made about 200 gallons of corn oil biodiesel, and he swung by the plant at like 2 a.m.
No way.
And it was just down at those warehouses down by the YMCA there off of,
Okay.
and so pulls in with the band, and we still have Cooper's onesie where he signed Cooper's butt. And it was the funniest picture we got. Like, the 6 of us who worked at the biodiesel company, we're just smiling. We got right. He's standing in the middle, just like, the 6 wives got around him. He's like, hey. It's still the funniest pictures you've ever
You
seen.
still got it.
But so we sort of developed that. We figured out we could do it. We went to Kenosha, went to Wisconsin, and specifically Madison is actually where we wound up. And we built a big biodiesel plant there. And so that one did tallow. We did one in Clinton, Iowa that did one off soy oil. Then we went to Greenville, Mississippi, which is B.B. King's birthplace and Jim Henson's birthplace. And we built one down there that made it out of catfish oil.
Wow.
So they had a fish stick plant, and they'd squeeze all the catfish oil, and then take the cat, and then we'd make biodiesel out of that. And then finally, the last one we built was in Chicago, and it was a 60 million gallon a year in Chicago, and it was off-spec butter. So again, like all of the butter that goes past date, again, at the time, this is about 15 years ago, went to the Kaluzny brothers in Joliet, Illinois. And when
Doesn't
I
sound
say
like mafia.
gangsters, they're just fucking gangsters. But they had all this off-spec butter, and they would do the same thing. They'd sort of sell it into the grease market, right? So people would take it and put in dog food and whatever. And so that plant made 60 million gallons a year off of off-spec butter. So like that much butter in America every year showed up at the Kaluzny brothers. And we'd take it, we make biodiesel out of it. And what we were design build. So you'd call me up and they say, hey, I've got $52 million. I'll be like, I'll be right there and I'll build your biodiesel plant, right?
Make that check out to John with an A.
With a
McKee.
small C.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And what we did was we had sort of war chested enough money to build that last one in Chicago for ourselves. So that was going to be the start of the big company, like right then. But what we had leveraged a lot of money to make that happen. So we'd reverse merged into Blockbuster's old stock. So we were actually traded on NASDAQ. And we were, the interesting thing about it was, I'm being too nerdy now, I'm sorry, but we had to carry 160 days between our accounts receivable and our accounts payable side.
Okay.
And each day was $1.7 million. So we had to carry about $170 million of debt in order to get through the cycle of when we'd have to buy versus when we got paid, right? And this was 2007, and the very first bank that was too big to fail was a bank out of Germany called West LB, and they held that note. And so they closed us the first day. We were one of the first businesses to fail in the recession.
Wow.
So I stayed behind. Like, everybody got fired. The bankruptcy brought me back in. We helped to get the assets all sold. I got everybody hired back, and they restarted those plants and then said, hey, are you ready to move to Illinois and live in Illinois? And I was like, no, I'm done. And that's when I came back to Butte. And, my plan at the time, to be honest, was my wife had a pretty great job and she was making plenty of money. And I said, hey, I'm just going to be a kept man. I'm going to take care of the kids. I make lunches. I'll do laundry. I'm going to get them to soccer. And she called bullshit on me and said, you're not going to do that. And I said, okay, sort of challenging her. Like, what am I going to do? And she looked at me and she said, well, you like whiskey and you know how to distill. And that was like late in an evening. That was like 9 or 10 o'clock that night. I got out of the bed and went and started working on the marketing plan that night. And I worked all night long. And the next morning I had sort of a fleshed out marketing plan and then started a business plan. And sort of that's why that all happened, was the bankruptcy of biodiesel that took me to a place where it's time to distill something other than fuel.
So Headframe started on butter.
Headframe started because of bad butter.
Bad butter.
Oh.
Who knew? You heard it here,
Bad
folks.
butter. So
Yeah.
that's the first time that's all been put together too. Like first, you heard it here first.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny that that one comment, for whatever reason, planted a seed.
Yeah.
That one night, and take me to what your thoughts were. Was it something like, well, shit, yeah, I could probably do that?
Yeah.
was
To her
it-
credit. Yeah. I mean, we have divorced since, but to her credit, like I will say, like, one of the things that probably has charged my brain harder and faster in a single phrase than anything else has ever been said to me, right? It's just sort of like, oh, yeah, I could do that. And, even as a kid, we were always sort of little entrepreneurs, and, we were always trying to do stuff. And even when in the biodiesel company, I was the third guy in. We had 250 employees over 4 states. When we were at our peak, I was the last guy at the bankruptcy and stayed through the bankruptcy, and then got those 250 guys hired back. And then, like I said, fucked off. But during that time, I sort of found that, okay, maybe there's a place where I'd want to have the chance to just make the decisions and see if I can pull it off. Right. Because I think, you spend a lot of your time. A lot of people do really well working for somebody all their life, and that's just their joy and their place, and they just want to know what they need to do in a day, and maybe they can optimize a bit on a day. And what my employees will tell you about me right now is I am awesome on a new idea. Like, get out of my way and it's going to happen. But as soon as I'm asked to run it day to day, or just run it day to day and optimize it just a little bit, I'm a disaster. And they just take me out of the way, and they say, we've got it from here. Go Imagineer something else. And they do great with it. But as soon as I step back in, they're only asking me back in because there's something unique and wrong that's never been seen before. But they don't ask me back in to literally do anything. There's like signs in there that says, John, don't touch anything.
No John allowed.
Yeah, I'm allowed, but I'm not allowed to touch anything, right? I can observe. But that's really where my passion is I like building and creating. But when it comes time to operate and maintain, I seem to be a true failure. Like, it's not my skill. Like,
Well, it's good to know that about yourself too.
it's taken a long time to figure it out. And it's taken a bunch of really cool people who have worked with me over these last 15 years. Carrie and Heidi, some people who've been with me since the beginning, who have really, they've sort of just beat it into me over time that, hey, this is not your sweet spot.
Yeah, like trust us.
Yeah, like we got this part. We really enjoy optimizing. We really enjoy maintenance. We really enjoy like seeing the lights come on the same way every day. You go do something unique and weird and goofy. And I'm like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the best, actually. Like,
Yeah?
when you have people you can trust,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
to
No,
like
they're just,
to do all your crazy ideas and optimize it and make it run and make it great, and you can just be in that space where you get to be the ideas generator. Like, what
It's
a
really,
cool
really cool.
opportunity. Yeah.
It's really cool. And I think what I'm really blessed with is every morning when I walk in, Carrie Corbett has been with us for almost 12 years now. And I walk into her office, and she's the director of operations. She runs all the companies. And I walk into her office, and I've got my notebook, and I sit down, and I say, these are the 5 things I'm doing today. And she listens to me. She goes, you're going to take number 3 off, and I'm going to add this one, and you're going to put it in at slot 4. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. And I go out and get that stuff done because, again, her skill is seeing like what it takes to keep these companies going, to make sure they work properly, to make sure that we're paying our bills, and make sure we have no credit card debt after 10 years, for 12 years. That's where she excels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I am really lucky to have her. And the same thing with Heidi, who runs our tasting room. You do not let me behind the bar in that tasting room. Well, they do to speak words, but I'm not allowed to actually touch anything. Again, same story, right? Because my skill isn't that thing that people come in there for. I can make a cocktail. It's not a great cocktail. If I make you a cocktail, you're not gonna be like, those Headframe cocktails are really good. You're gonna be like that and pouring it out in a plant, right? But what I can do is they can say, hey, we're looking for a different kind of spirit that could do this or that. What can you do? And I can go sit down at the lab still. I can go sit down with the flavor chemistry. I can bring them back things and say, hey, is this what you were talking about? And then they can say, yes. Now go make that.
Cool.
Or, well, no, you go make that. Go teach our people how to make that because they'll actually make it right and go do this next task. And so it's really like when you have people like that you get to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take us from that next morning.
Yeah.
You've got this marketing plan to opening day.
Okay.
Because I think that's to me is the crux of, and it lays the foundation of a lot of the greatness that you guys have brought into the world, is that kind of laying the foundation of your brand and the reason why you exist and how
that's a
you
kind thing to
exist.
say. I'm sure this is greatness in the world, but that's really a kind thing to say. So that idea happens. And, the thing that's very interesting by that point is, that the bankruptcy was over. I wasn't getting paid. Courtney had a She had business doing okay, but I was on unemployment. We had the kids on state-funded healthcare. We had no healthcare. There was one year when the annual food drive goes by with the fire trucks, and Cooper, was 3 or 4. He's like, "Hey, we need to take food out." And we're like, "Kid, we can't. Like, we got to go there to get food." But we couldn't tell him that, so we literally put food out. And we're really curious if we wouldn't be up at the food bank next week trying to get that food back. Like, it was a really tight period of time. In point of fact, he turned 7 the year before we opened. I've been 11. No, he turned 6 in 11. And in that old building, I was already in there trying to fix it up and doing all the work myself because I had no money for contractors. And in the old chimney, there was a copper stack that went up inside the chimney. They had put a copper stovepipe in. I tore the copper down. I stamped it flat. I took it to the recycling center, and that's how we afforded a bike for him that year for his birthday present, right? Because we had bingo money. So what happened was we'd sort of used up all our savings, friends and family, their money. But what we had since day one was Mick Ringsack was a huge fan of ours. And he had helped us get the Small Business Administration to stand up a loan guarantee for us. So they're like, "Hey, here's your loan guarantee. Go out and find a bank." And we kept going to banks, and distilleries were really fresh and new at the time. They really weren't a thing, right? I mean, half the time you show up to a bank and you're like, "Well, we're a distillery, vodka, bourbon, gin." I'm like, "So what kind of IPA are you going to serve?" And you're like, there wasn't a connection. The people didn't have it.
Right.
And so we had the loan guarantee, and everyone we went to, I had an 80-page business plan, fully supported by data from 3 different states. I had a 5-year pro forma. It was laid out. I got shot down 12 times, and it was bank after bank was like, "Dude, this is the best business plan we've ever seen, but we have no idea what this industry looks like. We got nothing to compare it to. It doesn't matter. You got a loan guarantee."
Because you were on that like front edge of the industry.
Way
as a whole?
front edge. So
Okay.
I think right now there's something like 2,800 distilleries. We were distillery 249 in the United States. So really, really new, really fresh. And so finally it was getting tough because we had bought the building. One bank had said they'd loan us enough money to buy that building, but no money to fix it, no money to start the business.
And this is the building on the corner of
Park and Galena, Montana and Galena.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I was in there just working. I had nothing else to do, right? So I was demoing and I was begging money for paint and friends to come over and help. And so we'd done as much as I could, but we just couldn't really get the business going. And we had a soccer trip to Billings. And so we take the kids over to play soccer, and we convinced Stockman Bank to sort of talk to us. And so we'd gone over, and, I go to a bank, 1 through 12, and I'd say to the bank, "Hey, hi, I'm John McKee. I want to open a distillery, make vodka, gin, and bourbon." And we go through weeks of work and eventually get denied.
12 times.
12 times.
Jeez.
We go to Stockman, and I walked in and said, so it's an ag bank. So I walked into it and I said, "Hi, I'm John McKee, and I'm opening a value-added agricultural manufacturing facility." And they said, "Well, let's introduce you to the president of the bank." And that's literally how we did it. So we changed we stopped saying that we were going to be a distillery and started saying we were going to be this value-add agricultural manufacturing facility, which is what we are. And the president of the bank just thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And he's like,
Wow.
"I will personally sign up your loan." And he did it at our kids' soccer game. We had a Honda Odyssey in the parking lot. They were out practicing. And I had a mini bar set up in the back with stuff I had distilled in the basement. And I was like, "Well, you can try this.
Yes.
This is what I'm going to be making." And he drank gin and tonic at my son's soccer game. And he's like, "We're going to do this."
Sealed the deal.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Huh.
but it was rough because again, we were, Courtney and I were eating shit. We were feeding the kids as good and fresh as we could, but there wasn't enough money to buy enough for us too. So they're like, "Oh, you guys," they look at us like, "We want ramen too for 5 nights in a row." We're like, "Nope, you're going to have some vegetables." And, and that was really sort of where we were at. And so getting Stockman on board was huge. And then after that, it was just a very different story after the bank was on board. We had someone who believed in us and trusted us, and we could try this and we could do this. And
Right.
it just meant a lot by that point because, again, there wasn't a single Butte bank. All these people who knew me, knew my parents, they're just like, "Nope, we're not going to do this." and it just got really difficult. So it got really downer too. It was really
I
tough, and I think at one time we were way into it, way overextended. All the money was gone, and Town Pump was hiring a chief information officer. So between Computer Geeks and then working at Biodiesel at the time, I was pretty savvy on IT. And so I did the interview and I got all the way to the final interview, and I was with the Canellis and they're like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, well, and I finally sort of broke down and said, well, I'm trying to open a business and it might not go. So I'm here. And they looked at me and they said, well, you're not getting the job with us. Go back and get that thing started up. And I was like, okay. And then I walked out and
That was probably the best kick in the
it was pretty
butt
good.
that
It
you
was
could
pretty
have
good.
gotten.
Yeah, it was still scary as hell, but
Oh yeah.
we got it going. And then pretty soon thereafter, then the Stockman thing happened and then we could get the ball rolling. So
I mean, good on you. I would have quit after 3 probably.
Oh yeah.
it was ugly. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really ugly. But, I think as a business owner yourself and as musicians, you guys, I think there's this place where there's this stubbornness that is required for us to do what we're going to do.
100%. Yeah.
And, and sometimes that stubbornness means, you don't know if you can give money to the food bank or you have to go get it yourself or, it's going to be really cold in the van that night or, like, are you going to make payroll the next month, because, a month's sales were down 30%. I mean, those kinds of things, you don't get through those kinds of things without, obviously you get through them with forethought and sometimes malice of like, you know what your plan is, you're going to hit your plan, and you're going to pivot when you need to pivot. But ultimately it's just, there's a bunch of core stubbornness that's involved that just says, I'm going to do this and, hell or high water. And I think that sometimes that's healthy. Sometimes it's really fucking not, but here we are.
But I mean, that
And we're
becomes
drinking whiskey together and
Yeah.
it's not so bad.
I mean, that like stubbornness is you, like that's a piece of you. And like, if that doesn't work, then God, that's a reflection on you. And
Probably true.
God dang it, I'm going to work my ass off to
Yeah.
make this work.
Well, it's tough too because I've heard people often say, "Hey, you're probably the hardest working guys I know," and I'm like, that's always sort of a sad thing to hear because that means I'm probably missing out on something, right? Like I always have a little bit of not FOMO, but just like, oh, I could have done another day on a river. I could have done another dinner party. I could have done, but no, that was the night I was working on the model for making electricity out of mine shafts, or because I still do other things besides whiskey, and I think I think my nerd just stays on a little too long sometimes.
It's hard to turn that stuff off.
It's hard to turn it off.
Yeah. I'm interested in what Headframe stands for. Like the brand, you named it Headframe purposefully.
Yeah.
And the messaging you put out into the world is an incredible story it's the Butte story.
Yeah.
And you guys are an arm of that. And I'm curious how you settled on that sort of a brand story.
Sure.
And how you go about continuing that 13 years, right?
13 years, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
how do you
That's what 13
continue that same story year after year for 13 years?
Well, I think you're right. So we called it Headframe because, when we first were trying to think about what do we want to call this place, there's no story behind McKee. So calling it McKee Distillery is not a thing, right?
Mm.
Like there's no story there. There's no reason to get invested in that and want that. And growing up in Butte, I grew up in the shadows of the Headframes. And I am very proud to say I have topped all but 2 of the Headframes in my time. I'm very proud to say it. I'm well past statute of limitations on all but 1. So, but
Secret safe in this.
yeah,
in the dojo.
listener, don't worry about it. We're good. So, but I think that, the story of Butte is 2 things. One is that thing we were talking about between my time, I want to go back to 1915 to 1930. There's the story of the past, but I think what a lot of Butte gets caught up in and has historically gotten caught up in was the story of the past. And it was harder to tell the story of the future because 1, it didn't seem like there was a future, certainly in the 80s. Didn't seem like there's a future for the town. And then 2, the stories of the past were so big and so huge that it's a multi-volume encyclopedias that could be written just about the stories of things that happened in the M&M, for fuck's sake,
Just
much
the
less the
M&M.
rest of town.
Yeah.
And
That's absolutely right.
and so I think what we saw in that was we said, great, there's a bunch of expats of Butte out in the world. There's a bunch of people who know about the Butte story. Okay, let's brand the Butte as a whiskey and as a spirit, and let's send it out in the world. And let's name the spirits after mines on the Butte Hill so we can tell the stories of those things. So yeah, so we anchored ourselves really strongly in the past. None of those mines run anymore. None of those head frames operate anymore. So we anchored ourselves in the past, but really intentionally looked instantly forward. Like, what was the story we wanted to tell? So we took this building that it wasn't abandoned, but it was
a vacuum store, wasn't it?
It was a sewing machine and vacuum repair shop that had repair tags on sewing machines in the back that hadn't been picked up since '83.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Right? I mean, and so there's a lot of this, we found this building, it was on that corner. You drove by that building your whole life and you never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the day we finally pulled down the paper and the lights came on and the sign was spinning and you're like, whoa, that's sort of interesting. It was sort of how we wanted people to approach Butte again. Let's look to the future. Like, all of a sudden we've started capping these mine waste dumps and putting grass on them. You can't find mercury bubbling down the street anymore. Our water's the third or second most clean source in the state now. A lot of amazing things happen. So let's start telling the story of now and start telling the story of what we can do. And to that end, I think there's this in Headframe, how I've personally sort of kept it, and it's becoming really real now, is I've always said pretty publicly, and of course with the team, that we're giving Headframe to them. So meaning the employees are going to own Headframe. So it's always been sort of evergreen for me because it doesn't have my name on it. It's not McKee's distillery. They've already figured out they don't really need me around unless there's a special project. So even better, right?
Well played.
And so one of the things I've always had in my mind is that we're going to turn this company over to the employees. And so Courtney and I got divorced a couple years ago, and she moved out of town. And yeah, I sort of lost my way for a little while there. Just like because we sort of built the business together, and there've been a lot of the business a lot of the business was John and Courtney, right? And that was
losing a co-founder.
Yeah, a co-founder and a
it's
partner
a big
and all
deal.
that. It was a big deal. And but what at the time it actually sort of helped cement for me what I had always been feeling is that maybe that's what had happened, just because Courtney and I were sort of bigger than life, that we had sort of, the distillery really become about us. That was the perfect place for me to really start kicking into gear, getting it over to the employees. And so even today, when that check we gave to the mining museum today, that was signed Team Headframe, and all of Headframe decided, okay, are we going to do this or not? And they decided. They saw the numbers, they saw the books. They're like, we have enough money to do this. Let's give that money to the mining museum. And what we're doing is we already have the consultants on board, and we are working towards an employee-owned trust. Cool. So not an ESOP. It's a different way of doing things. But basically, my goal right now is my birthday of 2027, so about a year and a month and a half. I am giving the company to the employees, and they're going to have it from there on. So Headframe can be an evergreen thing for Butte, both the facility up there at the Kelly and the one over at the main one at the tasting room, that regardless of me and regardless of the impact I may have had on being able to get it started or get it to where it's at now, its future is going to be them. And, there's these people who live in Butte, grew up in Butte, these people have moved to Butte for the company, are having kids in Butte. It's their legacy that they're going to take forward. I mean, my impact and involvement in that is going to drastically start decreasing in about a year and a half.
Of All the Places podcast is supported by the Covalite Theater, Butte's nonprofit DIY event venue and uptown living room. The Covalite is located at 215 West Broadway.
Whether you're taking in a stage play or cabaret, joining a workshop, stepping up for open mic, hosting a private party, or grooving to live music, the Covalite is your new favorite hangout.
Weekly opportunities to stop by the Covalite are made possible by partnerships with Town Square Media, Ziply Fiber, and Clearwater Credit Union. Hey, Katie, let's tag team these events. Cool?
Yeah.
Tuesday nights are open mic nights.
Every Wednesday, there's a free movie on the big screen at 7 p.m. And then there are several other notable events and concerts coming right up. January 31st is the free Snowflinga Winter Festival after party featuring Float Like a Buffalo, a really awesome funk rock band from Denver.
And we couldn't be doing this ad without screaming from the mountaintops about the show on February 20th with Butte's own, wait for it, Desperate Electric and Bozeman's Still Gone. It's a good old-fashioned hometown throwdown,
We're
baby.
hyped. We haven't played the Covalite it will actually have been 2 years.
Dude, I'm
when we
geeked
do that
about
show. So I'm So hyped. I'm excited we can talk about it.
Nice. So for more events, activities, and info, visit covalightpresents.org. Don't miss a chance to come out and play at the historic Covalight at 215 West Broadway in Uptown Butte.
John, I have a sneaky suspicion that you're the type of guy who forgets about everything in the world the second you sit down on the couch after work. Am I right?
I'm not really sure what you're getting at here, sis, but I call that Steele's Furniture Magic, baby.
Yeah, I nailed it. I read you like a book, John Wick. We are proud to once again be supported by Steele's Furniture and Appliances. Located right in Uptown Butte, Steele's is where the magic happens.
Sofas and recliners, coziest beds, all the kitchen appliances that you could imagine. Those fridges, they're a flex.
Whether you're upgrading the old she shed, glamifying your living room, or just want a recliner that hugs you like Grandma Steele herself, Steele's Furniture has been serving Southwest Montana for 95 years.
Hey, how's that for having your back? And your backside, eh? Swing by 800 South Wyoming Street or check them out at steelsfurniture.com. Just tell Dan that we sent you.
Well, maybe tell Dan that I sent you.
Oh, thanks, Katie.
We are supported by Alpha Overhead Doors. You know, nothing is more frustrating than when something that should just work all the time doesn't. Like your garage door.
Ugh, yeah. And I read that just the other day, Alpha Overhead Doors provides same-day garage door repair and installation. And that's kind of a big deal because, like, it's one of those essential everyday conveniences that we all need and we take it all for granted, like either at work or home.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Alpha Overhead Doors started in Billings 30 years ago and have expanded to Missoula. And 4 years ago, they landed right here in Butte. And the coolest part is they're run by a Butte native.
Very cool. For work that is consistent to community and client-focused core values, contact Alpha Overhead Doors. Visit their locations in Billings, Missoula, and on Montana Street here in Butte, and online at www.alphaoverhead.com.
We're supported by Trademark Elite Electric. Whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, a cabin, a chandelier, a dam, or a warehouse, whatever it is, they've got you covered.
Did you say dam? Like a water dam?
Damn.
Good one, Katie. Folks, trust me. We've had a lot of work done by Trademark Elite at 5518, and that building is like 150 years old. So honestly, I'm surprised they even answer my calls anymore. I do my best to get them into some wild little projects.
And that's where their experience kicks in. You give them a call and you know you're getting a professional with the tools, talent, and know-how to get you out of John Wick-sized shenanigans.
So if there's one takeaway from this season 3 of the podcast, it's this. Don't DIY yourself into a blackout. Call Ty and the crew at Trademark Elite Electric and let their 30 years of combined experience power your next project.
That's Trademark Elite Electric at 406-533-9733 or visit them online at trademark-elite.com.
And then you'll go dream somewhere else.
No, I'm going to dream right here in Butte. I got other things I want to do. I've done, said to my nerd thing, I've done all the modeling and cost, like financial analysis of making electricity from the mine shafts.
Oh, cool.
So you drop a weight down the mine shaft, you make electricity while it goes down, while it's on a winch, and then you turn the winch back and you drop it again. So they're batteries, right?
Yeah.
So I've run the model. There's like enough to power 20% of all the Butte households and just doing that.
Wow.
And
That's
so
cool.
I want to like chase that dream for a little while and see if I can convince Montana Power and some other people to stand on Montana Power, Northwestern Energy.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah, fuck, whatever. But that's how long I've been here. To sort of stand up this other idea, because I think that, again, I think looking forward, if you could tell a story that, okay, you either have, you can look to the history of mining and then the history of Superfund, and you can sort of be down about it. And I say, well, look, there's these holes up here that go down a mile. And if you put a 1 million pound weight on that and you drop it down, you make a megawatt and a half every time you drop it. And that can go straight into the grid. And it's really super clean. And you put some solar panels and it lifts it back up and you drop it again. And it's this really sort of clean way to make electricity. And it's really hard to do anywhere you don't have a deep hole in the ground. Well, there's deep holes all over the uptown here.
They're already there.
Polka dot.
So that's sort of what I want to do next.
What a cool way. I mean, that's just a continuation of what you're already doing, really. Conceptually.
Yeah, just nerding.
Yeah. Well, we know that you're a beautiful nerd. But even conceptually, like Headframe Spirits honors and celebrates the past while looking forward.
Yeah.
And like you yourself, you're on board with how great this place was,
Yeah.
is,
I
and
think
can
it's really
be.
cool right now. Yeah, and I
You
think
know?
that's it. I think what's really fun right now, and it's, I'm going to tip a little bit of my hat to you guys in this podcast, is a lot of the people you guys have brought on here. And I had to apologize to John. I think I missed one episode, so I apologize. and unfortunately,
Wow.
it's my buddy too. It's Les Cook. I don't think I've listened to Les's. So I
It
feel
was a
really-
bonus,
I
it
know, I
wasn't
feel
in
really, I feel
season.
really bad about that one. But the people you bring on tend to exemplify the last thing you just said. It's the people who are looking to the future of Butte and seem to be really passionate and committed to like being here, and not, even if they just want to be a part of being here, that's enough, right? Some people want to do a lot more, like be here and do more with it. But everyone who you've had on is sort of this perfect example of, I think, what we were trying to do with Headframe is like, fine, let's celebrate the past, but let's tell the story of the future. And if we can get enough people to start telling, it doesn't matter if your story of the future is different than your story of the future, so long as it's in the same place and we're trying to tell that story together, that's imagination, that's creation, that's creativity, that's progress. And that's what this town was missing for so long in the 60s, 70s, 80s is progress. And so it's really cool to think about the future here and think about what we can do. Like, I really dig that. And I'm psyched that Headframe's been this little part of at least the Uptown, or maybe Butte in general, of just like, hey, this is something weird and unique. There wasn't a distillery ever in Butte. Well, there wasn't a legal one. But
It's basements.
right. But it wasn't there. And I remember opening Uptown. I remember like they had just paved Montana Street and we had to replace our sewer line. I remember we went up there and John Cecil was like, I'm not going to give you a permit to dig up the street. We just paved it. I'm like, fuck, you aren't. She's like,
What?
he's like, no one's, is distillery? Are you sure? Like, you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, dude, sign the permit.
Yeah.
I got a backhoe showing up in 10 minutes. We're digging through the street. And it wasn't that he was negative on it. It was that I think that by that point, all of the work he was doing to progress the town was on cleaning it up, making it look prettier, and just seeing a scar in a brand new, like chewed up, a brand new paved road from a new chewed up sewer line that went in was enough to, he was like, man, do we really have to do that right now? And so I had empathy for it while also telling him to fuck off and give me my permit. And I still remind him of that story to this day. But I think it's that progress that is really, really what I really dig about what's happening in Butte right now, and the people I choose to hang out with and the people that inspire me. And I'm no joke and no bullshit. So many of the people you've had on this podcast are people that inspire me, like Shai Adams, and I mean, just so many people you've had and I know are going to be on this season too. They are people that when I need to get charged back up,
Exactly.
I don't go look for them, but somehow I'll walk into a restaurant or I'll walk into the Cavalier and they're there. And I get a half an hour with them and I walk away just like, yes, that person and their energy and their fire. And it's got me back to what I want to do. And it just, I don't know, it's a really special thing to have.
Well, I know I feel honored to tell these stories. Like having this medium and these guys being on board with bringing the badasses of town in and just let's tell the world what we're doing. And I don't think we're real good at that as a community. We're humble. We're hard workers.
Yeah.
We
I thought
keep
you were
our
talking
nose
about
down.
us. I was like, I mean, we're doing.
Oh yeah,
we're not real good at
You
it.
in particular are great about telling people how good.
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, that's one of the things my salespeople always hate. They hate having me around because I'm such a soft sell. Like I don't like buy this bottle. It's $24.95, and you're gonna buy 6 of them. I'm just like, can we just talk for 2 hours about this? And they're like, dude, we gotta go sell more booze. And I'm like, and so they're like, why don't you just stay home and we'll go sell booze for you. And so it works out okay.
Well, I tell you what, I do want to give you credit though, and Team Headframe from back in the day, because when Cass and I were thinking about opening a shop, when that became a possibility in our minds, Uptown was very different at that time.
Yeah, it was.
But when I think back to it, I'm like, Northwestern Energy's building just got finished.
Yep.
And I looked around for examples of businesses that made Uptown Butte a good bet.
Yeah.
And there weren't that many. But you guys were there. And you were one of the first to bet on Uptown Butte and buy that building and fix that building up and turn the lights on.
Right.
And for me, that was something I could look at and be like, if they can do it, maybe I can.
That's awesome. That's
right?
a really kind thing to say.
And I've kept that because, like I think between you and me and all the others, other people can look at us now, and all of a sudden, Uptown Butte becomes a much better bet for a lot more businesses.
I completely agree with that, and I think it's sort of funny that for both of us right now to think of ourselves as the gray hairs, and I have a lot of gray hair,
I'm catching up real quick.
It's not a metaphor, but you're right. I think that what's wild is, I remember I still have the T-shirt. I should have worn it. God damn it. You and Cass used to set up at the farmer's market under a tent before you had the storefront, and you actually sold these T-shirts that were in small paint cans.
Yeah. Oh,
And I still have that T-shirt.
no way.
And it's still one of my favorite
That's sweet.
T-shirts. And I can't believe I didn't wear it tonight. That's the dumbest. I am such an idiot. Okay. So, but to the point was that I still remember you were like at your tent, and I was buying this T-shirt in a paint can. I was like, I love this. This is such a great thing. He's like, dude, just so you know, we're buying this building corner. We're open this. And I was like, what? And I think at the time that was maybe one of the first times I really had someone say back to me that they were giving it a shot because of the shot we had taken down on our corner. And I think what's really fun is I know that same thing has happened to you next tier down. So someone's come to you and said the exact same thing. It's like, I didn't know if I could do it. I didn't know if I wanted to do it, but I saw what you and Cass were doing. And that gives me reason to believe I could too. And I think that's the progress. It's this, it's pretty wild when you can get a snowball rolling down a hill. It's really cool when you can finally get it rolling on its own and it can grow on its own. And I think that it maybe only takes the person after you, that one that came to you, like that next person down. So 4 for me. And there's a snowball that's just not going to stop. And I think that's really special.
And I think we're getting there.
I completely agree.
Because it was a different landscape 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's just wild. I mean, it is very different. And it's one of those things too, where I work really hard and I go home really tired. Right. And so I don't go out very much. I don't get out very much. And so my weekends, I usually really jealously sort of hoard that time either to be on the river. Or I've got this little cabin up in the mountains, this little A-frame, and I just go and light a fire and read a book or two. And I really jealously guard that time. But then what happens is I go out on an art walk and I go out on a night. I'm like, there's a new business I didn't know about. And then I feel really bad because I'm like, I should be out and I'll go around that night and I'll spend $400. It's like, I want some money because I haven't been here yet and I need to support. And because if I don't, and people like me don't show up, then that business won't be there. And I think that it's really important to have everyone have their chance to be recognized, like walk into the shop and say, this place is amazing. This is beautiful. This is, what did you do? How did you get this done? And have that time to tell their own story, because I think they've probably gone through what you and I both went through, which is lots of days of doubt, lots of days of we're not going to make it, lots of days of, I still to this day, even right now, I'm not kidding you, last night I woke up at 2 a.m. and it wasn't a dream about buildings. It was a dream of the other dreams I have, which is I made a decision the day before, and it turned out that's the decision that kills the company in 6 months, right? And that's the one I'm always terrified about now. Is like, did I do something today that's going to ripple down, and then all of a sudden it's not going to work anymore, right? And so that's sort of my constant fear now. And so I still have those, and if I still have those after 13 years open and no credit card debt now, well, then fuck the guys who just opened their shop 2 months ago, and I haven't shown up to just spend some money and just pat on the back, that's sort of a failing of mine. It's something I recognize. And I think that a lot of the older gray hairs in Butte that have these businesses, we definitely still need to be out there and just touching base and just saying, hey, we know what you went through and we were there and we'll stay here with you.
And I see us and everyone in this room as we're kind of the transition point. We're like old Butte, the 80s when things weren't great.
Yeah, man.
That's kind of, we're trying to get past that. We're trying to have vision forward, and we're trying to do these things, opening businesses, creating festivals, things like that, so that we can get to the future.
Yeah.
And we're that branch. And there's going to be some really cool young people that follow us up that are just going to kick ass, and we get to sit there and high five them on the way.
I mean, and it's really fun because we've had a couple employees who went out and did that, right?
Mhm.
So like Casey McConnell started the sandwich shop. I mean, so
Right.
like North 46. I think there's a couple employees we've had that have been out and they've been like, we can do this now. And they go out and they do their own amazing thing. And it's not because they were with us and we taught them how to do it. It's because they already had that sort of nugget and they already sort of felt they could probably do this and maybe just needed some time to say, okay, John really fucked up today and the business is still here and we're okay. So I can probably do that too then. I might
Right.
fuck up. Well, I'll probably be okay too. And I think that's an interesting way to teach people too. I mean, that's all I do. Just teach people I fuck up all the time and still well works.
Same. But you talk about ripples, man, and that's kind of like what your ripple hit me, and hopefully like both of our combined ripples have continue and
I hope so.
snowball, and
I hope so.
that's my dream, and I know it's yours. You've
Yeah,
shared that,
totally,
and it's-
totally.
and,
Yeah.
and that's great. My question to you is what's Butte gonna look like in 100 years?
Yeah, that's a really cool thing. So here's my Imagineering, right?
I can't wait for this.
Okay.
I'm ready.
My Imagineering is the pit's filled in.
Okay.
and it's-
Wait, can I cut you off right there?
Yeah.
What if we put a stage over the pit
Well, we do that after we fill it in.
and dome it?
You know, okay, we could dome it. Because I also had the idea you put a dome on it. You could use it as a solar distillation unit, and then you could actually just purify the water.
Yeah, I
through
was
solar
thinking more
distillation.
like music.
But anyway, but I'm with you. I still want to keep it. So I want to keep all the
Okay.
terraces on the back end.
Yes.
I want it to go verdant and green. I want solar on the
Mm-hmm.
terraces because that's all southern exposure anyway. And I really, really, really right now want us to understand that the decisions that are getting made right now about water and about power are going to affect all of us forever.
Mhm.
And, I think, Chadwick Stokes went up on that hill over there. And at that point on the continent, peed at the highest place on the continent. There's nothing above that. And so there's no water above that. And that spot is only 8 miles from here. Right. And so we live what's already a high mountain desert. And I don't need to worry so much about climate change. I know it's real. I know it's coming. But when we set up deals with companies to come in and take massive amounts of water to set up data centers or set up, or any other sort of things that consume these kind of resources that we're going to need in the future, I think that's the biggest thing I'm worried about right now. And that's what I write letters and whatnot to try to enact change, to try to preserve. Because when you live in a high mountain desert and you live on the top of the continent and there's no water coming from anywhere else, they're not going to pump water up from the ocean to us. And so if we don't do a good job of managing just water, not just I'm not going to get to raft rivers, but we're not going to be able to manage a community, right? You got to have water to live. I don't know if you saw, but just this week, the president of Iran has basically given the order to evacuate Tehran. So 11 million people are out of water. All the reservoirs are empty. And so they're like, we got to leave Tehran. And that's an 11 million person city. That's Los Angeles. Could you imagine, right? That's 11 times the population of Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, they're at the same elevation we are.
Oh.
They're at the same, they have the same sort of climate we have. And, they get snow right above them like we do. But when the water isn't properly managed, community can't develop and can't sustain. And so I see the pit filled in. I see it green and verdant. I see a lot of concert space. But I see the result of good decisions made about water, meaning that we still have reservoirs that are full, we still have rivers that run, and we still have the ability to, not just be green and verdant, but to just be sustainable and live as a community. That might have been a little heavy, sorry. But that's what I feel.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's important.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it's also hard to make whiskey without water.
It is.
true,
And
too.
so to that
Might be
end,
more
so,
important.
so I think a lot of people sort of ask me, I go through 12,000 gallons of water a day. And that makes about 20 barrels of whiskey a day. We're putting in a wastewater treatment system because we were forced to by the city in order to pre-treat before we discharge to the municipal plant. And I said, fine, well, if you're going to force me to make clean water, I'm not going to dump that down the drain. I'm going to make clean water. I'm just going to turn around again and use it again. So we're going to go from about 12,000 gallons a day to about 1,000 gallons a day that we're going to consume. And so I'm doing that because I believe in water. I believe in rafting rivers. I believe in, like what I just said, that I think 100 years from now, we need to make good decisions about water. And so I'm doing that because I want us to make good decisions about what we're doing. And I'm trying to like show that as a showcase of, okay, fine, we got a data center that wants to show up and just slurp a million gallons a day or some million gallons a day, whatever it is, out of Silver Lake. No, like I'm just taking 12,000 gallons and I'm going to turn that around at a lot of expense to only use 1,000 gallons a day, because I actually believe, not because I'm being forced to, but because I believe that it's the right thing to do.
Well, and it goes back to ripples,
Yeah, man.
right? I mean, that's the ripple of good, and that's what I feel like. From my perspective, that's what Headframe Spirits stands for.
Thanks, man.
You know, that's what you and Courtney back in the day, and all of your employees, like that's what you guys are creating.
Yeah, man. And I think what's really fun now is like Team Headframe is a really fun thing now. It's on my jacket downstairs, like I hung up and it just says Team Headframe there, and that's sort of, it's fun. I don't know if everybody else is thinking about it that way, but I am, and I think a lot of us are. Because I think everybody's figuring out it's their company now, it's their future, and we got through the debt, we made it, so now they can sort of just take it forward, and they can have control of their own destiny, which I think again not a lot of people get anymore.
That's neat.
That's super cool.
Well, I'm thankful for the bad butter.
Bad butter,
I'm thankful.
bad butter.
I'm thankful you had to eat a lot of ramen.
A lot of ramen. There's no way to spice up ramen after that. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
We've all had our times with ramen. I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
That's kind of part of the growing.
I thought I was
process.
done with college, but no, that was a lot.
Sometimes it comes back.
Oh well, thank you so much, John.
Yeah.
Well, no, cheers to you guys. And I think
You're doing great.
I don't know if this is the coda to the podcast today or not, but I think there's a lot of different ways that people can try to tell story and it can try to communicate their place in the world. And I've done my way, the way I've tried, and I'm successful or not. And I made enemies, I made friends. But I think what's really fun about what you guys are doing with this podcast is there's a lot of slow burn on this podcast. There's a lot of the people who you've brought on aren't, the people who show up for a council meeting for half an hour and say, we're going to bring 200 million jobs. And these are the people who live in this community. They work their hearts out. They have a really, really like long haul all the time, but they're always sort of looking to the future. And it seems like you guys have done this really cool job of bringing people like that on, and people who I'm just always amazed to just be in their orbits, like be in the orbits of the people you've had on this so far. And I think it's really cool, the curation you guys have done here. And so I have a big gratitude to this podcast because, again, I was telling you, like, sometimes I run into friends in the bar or in the restaurant or somewhere, and just a 5-minute, 20-minute conversation gets me fired back up. Well, I've been using your podcast to sort of do the same.
Oh, thank you.
There's been people here that you've had on. Justin, he just, he's just amazing artist. He just blows me away. But again, I've told him a couple of times, like, he's a massive inspiration of mine, but I don't ever really say so, like, because I don't see him very often. And when I do, I don't know if I get a chance to say it, but so I get to be inspired just by going back to that episode or going to the other episodes of people you've had on here. And, you guys are doing something really cool here. So I don't know if this is what you wanted the coda of your podcast to be, but I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
That's super touching.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
I have no words.
No,
That's awesome.
This does fill up my cup, and I think I've said that to you guys in the past, and so I feel that too.
Yeah.
And like this is a privilege that we get to do this, and I don't take it lightly.
Well, let me throw it back on you guys. There's maybe one last thing, if you don't mind. It's your podcast. You can tell me to shut the fuck up, dude.
We'll just edit this out. It's fine.
Yeah, just like, post can take care of everything.
Yeah, edit and post.
What do you see? I'm going to go not 100 years. I want to go 10 years. What do you see in Butte in 10 years? What's your future? What do you think is going to happen here in the next 10 years?
My biggest goal right now, a lot of what I do on a day-to-day basis outside of work or through conversations and talking with people, is I want to see Uptown become more alive and more vibrant.
Yeah.
I think Uptown is the beating heart of this town, and it's the part of this town that makes Butte different from everywhere else in the world, and it's special. And what I'd like to see is more people on the streets.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more businesses filled up with more different businesses.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see it become beautiful and clean and safe
Yeah.
and vibrant, where this is a destination for people that come to Montana, not just an afterthought of people who take the exit to fill up their gas tank.
I love that. I would give a recommendation to businesses out there who just heard John say that. Stay open on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
I can't tell you how many people come into our tasting room on Sunday and they're like, we came to Butte and there ain't nothing open up here but you guys. And we're like, well, welcome. And let's do as best we can to welcome you and make you feel comfortable, because they're right. I mean, I cannot tell business owners as often. I tell this one of my I say it most often. If you stay open on Sunday, you'll make bank because they're up there.
Yeah.
They are there.
And it just needs to be like, if we have more people, and it just like, it wouldn't be a choice to be open or not. It's just like, that's the day we're open.
Totally.
It's default.
How about you, Katie? 10 years.
I mean, that just people. Nothing gets me hyped like being uptown and there being people out.
Yeah.
We rolled back into town after Thanksgiving on Saturday, and it was cold, but the sun was out. And there were people on the streets, like walking around, shopping. I mean, groups of people on Main, on Park. It was like, we should have that all the time.
Yeah.
And if we like that, and I think we're nearing that, because we do get these little tastes of it. But there's really cool people doing really cool stuff here to not only bring people to Butte, but bring people to stay in Butte. Like creating these cultural hubs for music and art and a cool place to get a drink. And I mean, I told John a couple weeks ago, I had some friends come to town just for a girls' weekend. And we wound up not leaving Butte. And in fact, we didn't leave uptown because we didn't need to. And it was so cool. Like we've lived here 5 years, and 5 years ago we had to leave uptown and maybe leave town to like have a, fun, exciting girls' weekend.
Sure.
And we didn't have to.
That's
we
awesome.
literally didn't go like past Galena Street.
That's so
We stayed between here and Galena Street. And just to see that continue to come to fruition, and for like my friends that have opened businesses here and to see them thrive, it's like in 10 years from now, I just want to see that tenfold.
That's cool. That's cool. That would be really fun, wouldn't it? I mean, when we go back to that 1915 to 1930, and there were 100,000 people here, right? There's 30,000 now. And all we're asking for is more people, but we're asking for it. I think the other problem that we always have with that too is that we need to be cautious about is we ask for more people. We're asking them to come here and just try their best to be Butte rats.
Right.
Like if you come to Butte and just you don't have to assimilate, but try to find what's cool about the vibe here because it's a pretty cool vibe.
We don't need to change it for it to progress.
Yeah, better said. Thank you.
We can keep the heart of Butte. And I think a lot of the people that have moved here, like from my perspective, really want that. They came here and they live here because they love what makes Butte special.
Yeah.
And they just want to progress that, and not change it and gentrify it and make it something that we don't want.
Sure.
And so I think that's really cool to see. And if that can continue and we can grow at a nice sustainable pace, and people in their 20s can afford a storefront in uptown to create their dream business, like that is so rare. And if we can have that continue to happen in the next 10 years, I think we'll be pretty well set.
That's awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Super cool.
With the new Kelly.
Hey, man. The new Kelly.
Thanks for the gifts.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Well, John, you're the man. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Thank you so much. This was like super, super fun. This is exactly what I wanted tonight to be. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing your time.
Great.
We need to get you on zebra print couches more often.
Dude, I just feel at home. I mean, now I know that a rugger's in charge of sound.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
at home.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing all right.
Look out, baby.
I love it.
Now, this has been great. Thank you so much. And thanks for everything you do in town and keep making ripples happen, man.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of all the places, of all the places,
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. And thank you especially to our favorite doer of nerd shit, bad butter believer, and owner and founder of Headframe Spirits, John McKee. If you're a fan of the show, please tell a friend. It's the easiest way to support this podcast and any others you listen to. Please don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube, and be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Of All the Places is produced by Morris Mountain Productions in partnership with 5518 Designs. Our theme song is made specifically for the show by Walkerville's own power disco duo, Desperate Electric. For Ben and John, this is Katie. Thanks so much for listening to Season 3 of All the Places podcast.